Yo, what's good, guys? It is your boy, A Sincere, out here watching movies, enjoying life, staying safe as y'all should be. That being said, this is the Soundflick Podcast. Welcome. Whether you're watching on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you for tuning in with us. Real quick before we start, be sure to follow us on all social platforms. Soundflick Pod on all social platforms. Patreon, support us. We have some more things coming for you, but follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. We have some things coming your way. But with that being said, let me introduce my co-stars one time to the bottom of the screen. But if you're listening, he's I guess just the low end god, so it's still kind of towards the
Skywalker, Mike. That's me.
And to my brethren in the tenor realm. You're a tenor, right? You're a tenor?
I think so. I might be a baritone. I might be a baritone. I don't know.
Depends if you do a concert and your voice is gone. But introduce yourself, man. My bad.
Yeah, it's all good. It's your boy Narik. Thascool. You already know, and I'm with the Soundflick boys. Yeah.
Guys,
happy to be here with you guys.
So much is happening. So much stuff is unnecessarily blowing up the TL because it's all fake. It's all fake news.
Oh my
fake
goodness.
Reports, all spam profiles.
Isn't that every rumor that we hear about a movie is fake reports?
No,
there's some truth to some of them, but entirely like the rumor is mostly like just fans theorizing. Even like sites like Comic Book or IMDb, Boss Logic, all those, like, this is what they want to see.
Nah, well, Boss Logic's a G.
Boss Logic, you could expect that though because he's creating it. Yeah.
Shout out to Boss Logic.
So they're kind of like trying to set it up like, hey, look how this looks. You could have this. And then the fans are putting their input like, oh, we'd love this. And then it ultimately the studio's like, you know what? This rumor kind of seems like it can fit. So let's throw it in there.
Let's toss it in here, right?
But you know how.
I guess one of the things
to
like
get them all riled up, you know.
Well, like what just popped up on Twitter, Spider-Man. What is it?
Home Slice.
Home
Wrecker.
Spider-Man Home Wrecker would actually. I would actually watch that.
I mean, they have a whole theory now that it's talking about each of the three Spider-Men separately, with Tom Holland being phone home because he's a fugitive, and Andrew Garfield being a home wrecker because of him and Gwen's relationship and him kind of messing that up, and then Home Slice being Toby because of his pizza delivery being a big prominent part of Spider-Man.
I think
that's where we're at, guys.
Pizza time.
It wasn't confirmed by the studio, but it was confirmed by Tom Holland saying that he's the only Spider-Man in the movie. He did say, I think, as far as he knows, but it'd kind of be hard to slip in another Spider-Man without the main Spider-Man.
He could just be freaking it where he's like, I'm the only Spider-Man, but it could be more than one Peter Parker.
I don't know.
That's true. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more Peter Parker and they don't actually suit up,
right?
At least for like another thing, because they get introduced doesn't mean that this is going to be the last time that they'll be introduced.
Right.
Yeah, I guess my theory with the Spider-Man thing is that they're going to show up in Doctor Strange rather than this movie, but who knows?
I wouldn't doubt that. Either way,
that too.
It's all. Yeah. It could be just fan service. It could just be unnecessary gimmicks for the TL. Either way, I'm here for it. It's a part of. I don't know. I'm glad. I'm glad it's a part of the culture. Yeah, it's becoming
part of the fun.
Yeah, and Marvel's basically giving this free promo for no reason. You know what I mean?
You don't think it's fun?
I'm kind of like, I think it's cool, but I just feel like that it gives too many people who don't have a clue what they're talking about, like the same room for having those opinions, you know. And it's like, I understand an imagination, you can use that, but it has to be based around something. Like,
yeah, I think
there's just people that are just wilding out with their theories.
Realistic.
Come on, yeah,
but yeah. Most theories aren't even original theories anymore. Again, there's TikTok, there's Twitter where people are making these videos on theories, YouTube. Like the ones I just sent you guys. Yeah, YouTube as well, where you get people kind of breaking trailers down, pointing things out from different movies, where everybody's opinions are basically super biased to what they think is going to be dope, and they stick with that. And then when it doesn't happen, they're like, "Oh, I swore," but nobody. Narik, you and I both know because we read comics. You know what I mean? We kind
I
of
don't read comics.
You don't,
So-
but that's okay because you have us. But then you do your research either way, so kind of like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's like you just read summaries.
It's not too difficult just to do the research and to see like what's true and what's not.
I think I have enough friends that read comic books that tell me what they think, and then like I take it in and try to be as realistic as possible. So that's usually what I do, and then also do my research.
Well, like one thing you brought up as well, Skywalker, is when we were talking about how Mark Hamill played Nightmare, and a lot of people theorized that Nightmare could pop up in WandaVision. You know what I mean? Like, and then you did your research. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's if Marvel. Because so far the thing with Disney, Marvel, it seems like they're using a lot of their animated voice actors to be the live action. So far, the only example that I can think of is in The Mandalorian.
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan. That's so far the main thing that I can think of. So it's a possibility, but who knows exactly?
It's pretty cool theory.
It's a cool theory, because
right.
I just try to put two and two together with Elizabeth Olsen saying there's a Skywalker type appearance, and I'm like, Skywalker,
and it's just Skywalker bike popping up at the end of the
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all fun. It's stuff that we like to look into and dig.
Yeah, man. All that being said, if you're listening to this, fans, come up with your own theories, do the investigating, because in the end, it's all fun. And even if it
read the comic books.
Yeah, do yourself a favor.
Take some time. Well. It's great material.
And even if you don't, you can listen to Narik and I talk about it while Skywalker, as we're talking about it, just like, oh, you mean this? He just finds it in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yes. He's out here. Anyways, guys, we have a pretty lit episode. I'm excited. First off, I'll like to say rest in peace to the brethren behind Skywalker Mike.
Hey, they're not dead, okay?
They're not dead, but my child
no longer with us musically.
I mean, one of them blew up, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's dead. I think that would count.
If you guys know what we're talking about, Daft Punk split up the other day, guys. We got Bobby Shmurda back, but we lost Daft Punk. I don't know.
That's an even trade.
Is it?
No, we're gonna see when festivals come back.
I'm not gonna change Hot Boy. I'm not gonna take away one more time for Hot Boy.
There's theories that Daft Punk did this to up their single revenue, and people are gonna be talking about them more often and recognizing the allocates as they should have even before. I mean,
yeah, but they don't really need any more publicity. Like, people know
they have nothing to prove. They've done so much that, I mean, they've paved the way for so many electronic artists. It's insane. But I mean, it makes sense that they broke up. They were making a lot of their money off of touring, and maybe they just don't feel like it's it no more. Like, maybe they're just gonna live their regular lives, as they should. If they
not only that, but how many people know what they look like in day to day? You know what I mean?
Not too many. And then I think a lot of people underestimate how old they actually are, and that's no disrespect to them, but like, they've been in the game for a very, very long time. So the way that the game has changed and the way that music has changed, it just may not fit, what they're trying to do. And at least within the brand of Daft Punk, of like trying to make the brand Daft Punk work with what's going on right now.
Right.
So one of them was like, hey, well, I want to try some new things. And the other one's like, I got a family, or I'm not interested. I'm into something else. And they should be allotted that.
It's like, man, this robot mask doesn't count as a regular mask.
Yeah, but I mean, they've done a lot. They've produced a lengthy discography for themselves.
Someone was like, this is why they didn't perform with The Weeknd.
The Weeknd, Pharrell, like, those are, and they've launched those artists' career even further. I think
yes, they have.
The Weeknd was already by himself pretty big, but once he collaborated with Daft Punk, it really put him over the top as the artist he is today. I mean, I don't think he would have been at the Super Bowl performing if it wasn't for Daft Punk helping him make some music. But
I mean, arguably, you can say the same thing with Pharrell, even though he has hits in the rap sector. I think when he linked up with Daft Punk, that was the first time he had pop hits that were like,
oh, bro, Get Lucky.
Get Lucky was insane.
Daft Punk is just world renowned. That's it. So once you link up with them, the world will know you after that.
Right.
Exactly. You know, just a different type of bracket of fame that kind of comes with that. And you know, I was looking at old like Coachella videos of like when they performed in 2006, and it's just really insane. You know, like how much they brought to the electric genre, like how you were saying, and then them doing Tron, which is arguably one of the dopest soundtracks to a movie that we've ever heard,
right.
and then they get to be in it too. Like that was
not
sick.
only that, but it fits their aesthetic. It fits who they are. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
Like there's never been such a better pairing. But with all that being said, go stream Daft Punk one time. We missed them.
Yeah, for sure.
A couple days, but I'm still.
I mean, even though they are robots, so even though that one of them exploded, they can be rebuilt.
Yeah.
You know who can't be rebuilt? Vision. Anyways, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he can. But we got some quick news to jump in really quick, guys. There's one thing I'm not too hype about, which a lot of people are. We kind of talked about it in the chat, but our boy Pedro Pascal killing it. I don't know about like Wonder Woman 84. I love The Last of Us, but I don't think he can play Joel. I don't know.
I don't know. I think you're tripping because I feel like it's perfect.
I could be.
I mean, he's already shown that he can. Right now, I feel like he is being typecasted into that dad role. You know, The Mandalorian. He has this cartoon, not cartoon, that kids movie where he plays a superhero dad, and then Wonder Woman, he's a dad. You know, so far he is really being typecasted as a father figure, and that's probably one of the biggest games right now where the father figure is very prominent and huge. And you know, I feel like his acting can, like, it just fits.
The father figure role is crazy. Consider the fact he was a shitty dad in Wonder Woman 84.
He fixed it at the end.
I feel like that
realized what he needed to do to be.
He did realize. I think it's really interesting because this is the dawn of the new video game movie age.
Yes,
right.
You know, of getting blockbuster A-list actors and actresses to play in these video games, and we saw it kind of one-off before. I would say like Resident Evil is like one that was kind of like before, and you know, there's a couple more that just aren't coming to mind right now.
There's one coming up with Tom Holland. I totally forget the name of the game, but
Nathan Drake. Why am I Uncharted?
Correct.
Uncharted. So you know, Sony's really starting to make their movies based off of their games, which is something that they should have done a long time ago, because it's something that like they have a leg up on. Yeah, they have a leg up on the rest of any other movie studio because they have these other properties. Like I could see a God of War movie coming out of this. I could see you know, Horizon, or you know, they already have. Well, Spider-Man's a little bit of a different story.
It was kind of reversed.
Yeah, it was kind of reversed,
but still great game.
Yeah, but there's just a lot of intellectual property that Sony has that they can turn into video games, which I'm really, really excited for.
The thing that I like about The Last of Us, the announcement that it's not going to be a movie, it's going to be a series. I believe, I could be getting it wrong, it might be on HBO Max, or it could be on some other streaming service. I probably read that wrong, but nonetheless, so I think it's a great casting. But again, we're gonna have to see, because I don't know. I guess video game movies have a bad reputation, but I think it's gonna start to change given the times of technology. To make,
I'm just glad people are realizing how much needed shows are, in the sense that you can't jam pack everything and do fan service in 90 minutes or to 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like, give me hour episodes to make assume it's seasons 10 episodes. You know what I mean? That's 10 hours.
Yeah.
Jam packing a whole storyline. Typically, that's how long a video game is, anyways. You know what I mean?
I mean, you just get more content out of it anyway. You know, it's a slower build. It's easier on the actors and the actresses. They're not just jam packed into getting this film. It's easier on the editors because they have more opportunity to edit certain things into the shows. you get more out of it from the audience because they're more engaged than just watching the movie one time. It's really just a win-win all the way around. And I think Game of Thrones is another show that kind of pioneered this, this long form storytelling over seasons really well. So I'm excited for I forgot her name, but she's playing. I mean, Breaking Bad. I mean, kind of.
No, I understand what you're saying though. Like fantasy wise,
Yeah, I mean, it's just that Breaking Bad was still more of like a show in I guess fantasy wise, just like a show in real life. Where Game of Thrones was like, we're gonna put this budget, that could be in movies. Like you got dragons in here, you got stuff, you have all these special effects that really brought that. And then we have one of both Pedro Pascal and the actress that's playing Ellie, I think is her name. Yeah. In Last of Us. Yeah, she's from Game of Thrones as well. So I'm excited to see her get some work. I think Game of Thrones was such a polarizing show that it's hard for some of the actors and actresses from that show to get work because they're kind of like known as that. So to see them get other things is cool.
I think we see that all too often though, but I feel like there's always these people that kind of break the mold. So I feel like most people nowadays are just up for the challenge. And then if they fail, they fail. But I think most of the time, at least that we see nowadays, people are quick to get out of, I was this character only. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just depends on whether the character has life.
Yeah. Derb says the voice wouldn't be close enough, though. The voice is key. If you don't know who Derbs is, he's our sound engineer. But I don't think. Are you talking about
for Kratos? He's talking about for Kratos for God of War, which
that was earlier.
Okay. Yeah,
they're gonna have to.
He's very right.
They're gonna have to lip sync somebody.
No, I think that they could find an actor to do it. It'll be someone that you probably wouldn't think, and then once they do the makeup and kind of get the whole thing going, it's like, oh, all right. Or you see them get like super buff or crazy. It's like, all right.
If it's not going to be like a big name actor, it'll be somebody on the come up and. I don't know. I mean, they did Thanos. I don't think anybody can do Thanos. So
this is true.
You know who else is on the come up? So I mean, I feel like again going off of like the typecasting, there's always that one actor that everybody knows, but nobody knows their name but recognizes them.
I just found out his name reading Doc, and he was in a movie we're going to talk later.
So yeah, exactly. So the person we're talking about is Jesse Plemmons. If you guys know who Jesse Plemmons is,
but you don't.
Like Mike, he was the villain in Like Mike.
That's crazy.
That's crazy to think about. He was the villain in Like Mike. He was the villain in Breaking Bad. This dude plays just a shitty person in most of the castings he's in, but he's a really good actor. Yeah, he just played a cop in Judas and the Black Messiah, which we'll get into in a little bit. But he just got casted with Martin Scorsese in the new Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro film. It's called Killers of the Flower Moon.
Is that gonna be another mob movie or?
I think he's playing an FBI agent in that movie as well. So it's pretty funny that he's kind of getting these roles, but he just has this look upon his face that
it just looks like an FBI agent.
Yeah, he just looks like he'd be a narc or an FBI agent or something along those lines. I think it's hilarious, but he's also dating Kirsten Dunst, so good for him.
Oh man. Well, to be fair,
you can't be mad about that.
To be honest, she's kind of mid, but I could just be hating, bro.
Oh, jeez.
I just saw
pictures. All of a sudden, she's mid.
I didn't like her as Mary Jane, except for remember when they tried to make her look all hot when like her nipples are hard, like in the first Spider-Man, like in the kissing scene. That was the only time. Other than that, she's mid. But there was
back in 2000. How old were you, Sincere?
I was 3.5. Mind your business.
3.5. You remember that? 3.5.
You're damn right.
So the last thing on our quick flick news is something that we mentioned before in past episodes, even before the pandemic, is AMC is now going to create their own streaming service.
Took them long enough.
Whoa. And I feel
like stocks doing, Skywalker. How's the stocks?
We'll see tomorrow. We'll see how it is tomorrow. But hopefully it does help the stock because I'm low right now. I really do think that they wanted to do this before the pandemic because they wanted to compete with Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, such streaming services like that. And because of the pandemic, it kind of sped up everybody's plans to do that because Netflix was already ahead of the race. Once the pandemic hit, Netflix is like, oh, this is perfect for us. And now everybody's like, oh man, we got to get on this quick. So now AMC is doing it. HBO Max has done it. Apple TV. There's Paramount Plus coming up. And now we're going to get an AMC Plus or what I don't know what it's going to be called.
What's fire is though is that AMC has so many good series under their belt that people already binge now, and people are always late to these like cult following or debatable cult following shows. Especially like the Breaking Bad like universe with that.
No, not AMC. The TV.
Are they not? Are they not connected?
I don't think they're connected like that. I think it's going to be AMC theaters themselves. Yes. And basically what they're doing is you have your stub holder membership. So some people, they have AMC stubs where they paid a monthly rate and it gave them like a certain amount of movies a month.
The link that you clicked was about AMC. I don't know why that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I went to that. It's all right. That's my bad. But anyway, so it's a stub holder. So basically, what they're offering is that you have this on demand. Remember when we had the app and we were able to like go to the movie from the app, watch where we wanted to go. So they're adding more to that. And if you like rented or bought a movie that was coming out, you would get like 3 movies with that as well. So it's like it's almost like iTunes where you're going to be able to like buy and rent from AMC in order to watch the movies that are coming out from your home, which, AMC has like over 2,000 unique titles to themselves. And other production companies. So it's going to be interesting because there may be some movies that are only going to come out on AMC that we won't see anywhere else, or would come out, for a limited time on AMC as if it was a movie release, like how regular movies would come out for like 2 months or so before, we saw them streaming. So
very interested to see how it plays out, or if it can even compete with Netflix or HBO Max, and especially with HBO Max and that Warner Bros. Deal, probably like the biggest thing that to happen.
It's rough, man. Yeah, I feel like that goes to any sport, any type of you're gonna have the vets, and you have rookies trying to come in. Most of the time, rookies might succeed. Most of the time, they won't. So I'm curious and yet excited because as fans, it kind of sucks because you're gonna have to pay more, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. I think people who already have AMC stub memberships may get either a discount or may already be able to opt in to that. So, we'll kind of see how this changes the market, whether it shifts the needle or doesn't at all. Who knows?
Pretty much. But that was the quick flick news.
We watched the movies, guys.
We did watch the movies
per usual, but there's some new movies that came out that are, one of them's very important. I didn't watch the other one, so I'm gonna need you guys to break it down for me.
We'll start with I Care a Lot, and we'll leave Judas and the Black Messiah for the last one. But I Care a Lot feels like it came out last minute because I didn't see it until Narik had mentioned it. But I saw the trailer the day before. I was like, where did this movie even come from? I don't know if it probably dropped on Friday.
I wonder if it was
it was part of the Netflix, because Netflix is dropping movies every week. So they have all of these movies kind of lined up, and they don't necessarily need to do trailers for them because Netflix is good at promoting their own material. So as soon as you go on Netflix, you'll see, there's a new #1 trending movie
which is interesting because Netflix they don't put out a schedule like this is what's coming out in March. It just like, all right, you'll see what we drop on Friday.
Exactly.
Which is they freak the algorithm and just make it the #1 movie.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt that either. But it's really good method because people trust. Netflix has the trust of people now
Mhm.
for their original content. So if they're like, oh, this is something new that Netflix is dropping and this is featuring this actress or this actor, I'm gonna watch it. I'll at least check it out. And that's kind of how I felt with I Care a Lot. And
I hated the movie, but
you hated it.
not because it was bad.
You hated the main character. You hated the person.
No, I hated the story. But
The
like I said,
story's
not because
unique, man. We would have
not a
never known
it's
about
not a
that.
bad no, it's not a bad story, but I feel like it hits home because I was working at a convalescent home,
Mhm.
and I know what all these old people are going through, what they
Mhm.
feel, how they're living, and I was like just watching it, I was like, man, this is so messed up. Like, why are they
Yeah.
like it made me hate the character off the jump.
Yeah.
Pretty much the character is she takes care of people who can't take care of themselves, quote unquote, supposedly can't take care of themselves, but she's pretty much just playing them. She finds people who have a bunch of money, no family, and pretty much tricks the court into thinking, yeah, this person can't take care of themselves, hand them over to me, I'll put them in a home, I'll take care of them because I care a lot.
Yep.
How much do you
Yeah.
care?
It's
Really, she cares.
She
She
cares
doesn't
about
care
the
at all.
assets. I mean, she cares about the assets
Yeah.
of the people that she's taking care of. So I thought that this movie was super interesting because, like how you said, Skywalker Mike, like this is a world that we don't really get a peek into, and this is a reality for a lot of America. I've worked not at a convalescent home, but I worked with mentally challenged adults who were above 55 and older, and I had to administer medication
Mhm.
and do that kind of thing as well. So I just understand the vulnerability that is involved with something like this, and to have a main character who was played by Rosamund Pike. She plays Marla Grayson, and Marla Grayson is a guardian. And
Does
for
such a good
people who
job.
don't
I
know,
hate her so much.
I know for people who don't know, if you are a person of a certain age and you are deemed, you feel that, or the state feels that you are unable to take care of yourself, then certain states are required to take care of you. So they will appoint a legal guardian to oversee your assets, to oversee your care. And if you don't have any family that is knowledgeable or takes you into their home, then the state will have to step in. So this was just like a microscope into that world. And it's just so crazy because a lot of this happens in the US, and there's an estimated 1.3 million adults under the care of guardians and who control about $50 billion worth of assets. And so it's a con movie for that Marla Grayson is trying to pull, where she is in control of these older people's assets and is able to use it as she pleases, able to use their houses as her houses, able to sell off any heirlooms, anything like that. And
Drain their bank
she
account.
ends up finding an older person who is the wrong person to do this to, and that older person is the mother of a mob boss played by Peter Dinklage,
Peter
which
Dinklage.
Peter
is
Dinklage
funny
is
in
the mob
itself.
boss?
Yes, he's the mob boss.
Yo,
The
It's
angry
funny,
dwarf.
but
He plays-
he's so good. Like
it
Yeah,
makes
he's just
sense
believable.
because I feel like most mafia dudes, like let's use Joe Pesci as like short
It's
temper,
more of-
short person. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I feel
just
like
has,
Peter
like, that niche.
Dinklage always. I've never seen him play a serious role. Like even in Elf, he's not serious.
Well, like
Mhm.
even in Avengers,
Yeah,
he was a giant.
he was a little bit more kinder in that one, but I feel like he always plays like the angry dwarf in movies. I've never seen Game of Thrones. I know he's in that, so I don't.
Yeah,
know.
I mean, he's fantastic in Game of Thrones. Like, it's not even.
I mean, I know people love him.
Like, it's crazy. So, and he's great. Like, I think he can be a comedic actor and he could be a serious actor, and I think he's really paving the way for just acting in like just taking on these roles that any sort of ability or disability that you may view it as, it's not holding him back at all. You know, he's able to portray these characters in a way that's still believable. And I think that that's wonderful, because that shouldn't be a criteria in your acting skill. Like, he's like a bona fide actor, and he got into this role and it was great.
Yeah, no, he did a great job. When you, I guess you were live texting when you were watching the movie, you had mentioned that he was the villain, which I can see why you would think he's the villain, because he's the mob boss. But off the jump, I knew who the villain was. The person draining these old people's bank accounts.
Yeah,
I was like, that is the villain right there. So it was kind of like villain and then bigger villain going at it, even though
it's just two evils against each other, which is pretty dope.
Even though the bigger villain was not so much of a villain, like he was a bad guy in that universe, but what he was trying to do was good.
Yeah, it was more of like a victim. He was like a victim, even though that he was doing bad things on the side, because he was trafficking people, you know. So like that's like a whole other thing. But that wasn't the focus of the movie. The focus of the movie was like him trying to break his mom out of this system, you know, that he would either take violence or money to do, and that wasn't working. You know, that's throughout this process. So it's interesting.
You have two evils, like traffic people or mistreat my mom. Like it's wild. It's just wild, bro. Actually, I'm gonna watch it tonight. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm kind of sleepy.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. The ending's really cool. Like the reason why I said that he was a villain is because in my mind I thought that there was going to be the typical redemption arc for one of them. You know, either like his mom, because his mom, you know, he was going to do something, or because of her realizing or whatever. And it just took a totally different turn than what I originally thought. So I loved it. I was like, this is really entertaining. And it's just talking about something that, again, we in America, we just overlook. And like, this is something that's going on.
I guess this is one of the many few movies that had me mad literally throughout the whole time watching it.
I'll see if I can find a list on Reddit.
I thought it was good, just in a bad way.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find a list on Reddit for the listeners. Stay posted on that when we post on socials. Hopefully you guys will be able to peep it, because I don't know, man. Netflix be releasing this low key heat, but it's just like it feels like one of my favorite rappers is just dropping.
That's why we're here.
Mixtapes every single week. You know what I mean?
We're here to highlight for the people that missed these titles. Like, oh, this seems like it sounds pretty decent.
You know what? I hope nobody missed though.
Oh, but before we move on,
I wanted to say,
would you give the?
I thought I had it.
Yeah, he was transition king over here. Hold on.
I'm trying, man. I'm getting better.
Again, it was just really, really crazy. I advise you guys to check it out if you all are listening. I rate it. I give it like a 6.5. You know, like for it, you know. But that's again, just for any new listeners, like that's out of 10, and like I don't think we've even mentioned a 10 movie as yet. Like we've had a few 9s, and that's like top of the line movies that we're talking about. So just because you get a 6.5,
we don't just be giving.
No, there isn't a 10. I mean, probably the closest 10 that I could think of. The closest 10 that I could think of is Remember the Titans.
See, we never reviewed that though, but
we never It's just where things are just perfectly aligned in everything that happens within the movie. altogether.
There's a lot of movies coming out this year, so we will be giving a lot of reviews. One of them, or a few of them, might be 10s, but we will see. But let's move on. Let's move on to the next.
Wait, what'd you rate it?
Movie. 6.5.
Oh, you 6? Okay, all right, cool. Okay, so yeah, check out I Care a Lot on Netflix. What we got next?
We got Judas and the Black Messiah.
Such a fire.
Yeah, I've heard about this movie towards the end of last year, and I thought it was going to come out last year.
Right.
It's a good thing it came out this year. I like the way the consistency of all these movies coming out. Like, you're really trying to up the experience in your room every time, you know, either making popcorn or setting the lights, you know. So I like it. I like the consistency of all these movies coming out.
I just want to say, IE, shout out Hit Boy for helping curate the soundtrack.
Yeah, IE shout out
Lakeith Stanfield for playing the role he did. Yeah, man, it feels good being part of. I don't know. I feel a part of it. You know what I mean? Someone being from where we're from, being able to do that, and it being a worldwide film. So I'm excited.
Yeah, no, they really did their thing. Especially Lakeith Stanfield. There was an article I think you guys had posted to the chat saying that he needed therapy after the movie, and that sucks a lot, actually, to hear that.
Yeah,
and hopefully he's doing well now. Hopefully you're in a better space, and
it's a hard part to play.
Empathize,
right? Yeah, well, let's get into it so people can kind of understand. I mean, even if they have watched it, a lot of people haven't yet, which kind of bums me out. But hopefully this kind of intrigues everybody else to watch it. But
well, some people don't really know the history, you know. It's about Fred Hampton, who was chairman of the Chicago, Illinois Black Panther Party. And people who don't know, the Black Panther Party served as a party for Black people to just take ownership in the United States, in America, to address issues that were going on in their community, as well as uplift their community. And some chapters represented themselves in a more militant way, and other chapters represented themselves in a more philanthropic way. And but there was a unification for dealing with Black concerns. And this particular chapter was run by Fred Hampton, and he really, really spoke a lot about socialism, a lot about being educated, being militant, and not needing anybody on the outside to come and help. And he pioneered some programs that were around Chicago with feeding breakfast, free breakfast for all of the kids.
That was awesome.
Breakfast program. And while that, you know, breakfast program was going on, he was teaching them different words. They had their own Pledge of Allegiance. They had just their own way of life that he was trying to construct. And he had a lot of followers that were around him.
Trying to pave a way to create a medical center for the community. And
you know, which was huge.
I mean, if you saw the movie, you just think about how fucked up, you know, the FBI was, what they did to Malcolm X, what they did to Martin Luther King, and what they did to Fred Hampton. You know, it was very prevalent that the FBI was involved in all three. Those, obviously, to these days, they're supposed conspiracies, but with all these stories and all these different movies coming out, and I guess doesn't tell the entire story. It does tell a part of the story, and I guess it's showing it in a way where people can digest it properly. It's just really fucked up, you know. Like, I really don't see. I mean, I think any viewer can see that Fred Hampton wasn't trying to be a terrorist. You know, breakfast program, trying to create a medical facility, trying to give back to the community the way that they should have been repaid. You know, reparations were due and are still due. And, you know, all we get is the FBI trying to put us in our place, but there's no place.
Yeah, what ends up happening is that whenever, because of the relationship between Black people in America and America itself. Whenever Black people want to own something or create something for themselves, America feels entitled to be a part of it. They feel entitled to dictate how that affects the rest of America instead of allowing Black people themselves to dictate how it will affect everything.
Right.
And because of that fear that there would be a power shift whenever something starts to gain legs or gain some steam, then the powers that be or the organizations in America are now tasked with keeping tabs or keeping an eye on it. And if you have someone who's running those organizations having a certain thought process like Hoover did, Hoover was a racist himself, and it's not that the whole FBI was racist. It was that the person in charge,
which shows in the show as well.
Yeah, which shows in the movie as well.
Jesse Plemons, them pretty much. Jesse Plemons is trying to go the right way and trying to catch Fred Hampton, while the rest of the FBI is trying to find ways to
by any means necessary
to put Fred Hampton in jail. And the FBI soon realizes we don't need Fred Hampton in jail. We need him. We need him gone. But I mean, Jesse Plemons shows a few times that he wants to speak up and be like, this isn't right. Like he mentions to Lakeith Stanfield's character Bill that the KKK and the Black Panthers are one and the same. They want to terrorize communities and kill in order to get equality. And then the FBI knows that that's just something that they say because obviously the FBI is at those times when the KKK was very prevalent, they were on the KKK side and against the Black Panthers shown in this movie, and Malcolm X, like I said, and Martin Luther King and several other Black leaders.
It's really, really difficult because when you take a community that's oppressed and if they are doing things that are considered wrong, then there's a sense or confusion of justification. It's like, are they justified in bearing arms because they've been oppressed for so long? And that's kind of where Jesse Plemons' character is kind of coming from, is like he's trying to be on the side of justice, of saying regardless of what you believe in, if you're killing people or you are terrorizing neighborhoods or doing things like that, then whether you're oppressed or not, it's wrong. And the people who are being oppressed have a hard time seeing that because they have had to claw their way into getting recognized in order to even overcome the situations that they're in. And then the people who have the power are fearful that the people who don't have the power are going to obtain it and then use that against them when there's no proof of that either. So you really get into this conundrum of like good versus evil. Is there good on both sides? Is there bad on both sides? And the answer is yes, there is, but it's a lot more nuanced than that. And I think that overall, conversations weren't had that could have been had that would have changed this entire situation. But instead, they sent in someone like William O'Neill, who was a real person who infiltrated, the Panther Party. He got close to Fred Hampton, became his chief of security, and basically sabotaged him by drugging him with a sedative that kept him asleep. So when an FBI raid happened in their headquarters, he was asleep and they shot him in his sleep. And that is just really, really crazy for Lakeith to play because his his politics, his personal politics. Like, it's really, really difficult because these stories have to get told. But
Right.
a lot of times it's not always just black versus, every other race or every other culture. Like, there are issues within the black community that are of themselves, just like any other culture.
Yeah,
You have issues within
they
the
also
white
highlight
community. You have,
the Rainbow Coalition and
exactly. So,
all that.
you have all these issues where one of your own or your kin is plotting against you. And the whole thing is about destroying trust. That's the reason why the powers that be have been able to keep everyone contained and together in America anyway, is because these cultures and these communities don't trust one another, as well as they don't trust the people who are next door to them, which doesn't allow the power that the people actually hold to manifest into a reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really do think the movie was done well with Daniel
Kaluuya.
Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield at the helm. Obviously, Lakeith Stanfield's character was, I guess, the antagonist of the movie alongside with the FBI, but it's not like he was doing it purposely. He was trying to fight for his life and was not as deep of a thinker as Fred Hampton was. He just wanted to live. He was, I guess you could say, realistic in the sense where we are putting our lives on the line for nothing to change. We are just digging ourselves, which wasn't the truth. That was just the way he saw. He just saw himself as digging a deeper hole, and he just didn't see what the outcome can be as far as, black for Fred Hampton with the Black Panthers was. And now you can see it nowadays with Fred Hampton Jr. and his wife continuing to pretty much keep the what is it, the new Black Panther party that they have with I want to say it's juniors or
they basically they have like a program that is still keeping the just the overall thoughts and the overall ideologies of the Black Panther Party alive within their communities, which is great to see. And William O'Neill did an interview for a documentary, and when that documentary came out on PBS, he ended up taking his life because I think regardless of what culture you come from, when you have done something to halt progress in the way that, and you finally realize your part in that, it's hard to kind of live with yourself, in that kind of situation. So I could understand Lakeith having issues playing that part, but he did it great. He did it masterfully. It was a really, really good movie.
That's a huge toll to take, but also you can tell even when in the scenes Lakeith was doing when he was talking about fighting for his life and they're gonna, like, this is what they did to people that were traitors, like they're gonna do that to me. Like he really embodied that person, and just to, like, that person killing themselves that same day as well that it aired. Kind of just shows the mental toll it had on him. So I can only imagine Keith being this character for months. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then one more thing, just to point out that Fred Hampton was 21 years old.
Yeah, very young.
When this happened. And he was locked up. He was locked up for how long? 4 or 5 years?
4 or 5 years.
Which is wild because he was assassinated when he was 21. So he was doing all this and starting it out when he was 16.
Yeah. He looked up to people like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. They mentioned in the movie, look at what happened to them. They didn't come together, and that's when he decided we need to create a rainbow coalition and be together and be one. And he learned that at a very young age.
Right.
And it's truly tragic just to see him go at 21. Because imagine what he could have did in 5 more years.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that America likes to do is they like to age up a lot of the youth who are revolutionaries. They like to make them seem like that they're these adults and that they deserve it and that they know what they're doing and that they're older. A lot of these revolutionaries, a lot of these people who are making real change are young. They're very young,
They see
and
the
I think
future.
that's really the way that it is now too. A lot of our revolutionaries, a lot of the people who are making changes and fighting for the rights of you and me are 19, 20 years old, 21 years old.
Exactly.
And people want to say, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. But they're the ones that are actually trying to make a difference in a radical way. And we need to start paying attention to them, because if we would have paid attention to Fred Hampton when he was doing what he was doing, we'd be in a better place as an entire society.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
This is just one of those important films, but also along with it being a film, it's also at least I think so. It's a very important soundtrack that came along with it. Plus we got another fire Nipsey, the late
That
great
track
Nipsey
is
Hussle.
fire. That
The
whole track
Jay-Z
is fire.
so far, Jay-Z has verse of the year. In my opinion,
it was crazy.
Jay-Z touched everything he needed to. Flows are crazy. He was super on point. But if you guys haven't done so yet, go buy and go stream. What's the soundtrack to Judas and the Black
I think it's
Messiah?
called the Inspired album, I believe.
The Inspired album.
And that is
plus
executive produced by Ryan Coogler and Hit Boy, Archie Davis, and Dash Sherrod. The track list is really crazy. We talked about the track list, I think, last episode, or we posted about it on our Instagram. You have like ASAP Rocky, Dom Kennedy, Polo G, Black Thought. Hit Boy has a song on there called Broad Day that's insane.
Yes.
Masego, Jid, Rhapsody, Smino, Saw, Her, Nas. The list just really goes on.
Yeah,
and
pretty much it's Def
insane.
Jam, Dreamville. Pretty much the compilation album, which is awesome. Very similar to when TDE did the Black Panther album.
Right.
And yeah, I'm even very similar to
just
that
Black
Queen
excellence,
Slim
man. That's the way I view it. Every genre, every subcategory, every subgenre is what's touched here, and I think it's the perfect depiction of the times that they struggled with back then and the times we're dealing with now. So definitely go do that.
Yeah. And what do you guys rate the movie?
I give it an 8.
I give it an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that. I average it out to 8. I think it's a great film. Definitely go and check it out. If you guys have HBO Max, it is available now. Do it for Black History Month. It's a good lesson that you guys should get into.
Definitely. So going from there, I know we're almost running out of time, but there's some important trailers that came out last week.
Oh, we got some.
We got time, bro. We got time for these trailers.
True, right? So let's start off with your guys' favorite movie of the year, the Snyder Cut.
Don't your guys's don't do that.
Don't include me in your nonsense.
Skywalker Mike.
The reason I'm hyped for this is only because of Snyder. I did not like the other Justice League movie. I know he had a hand in it and he left for personal reasons. And then DC decided to just crap all over it. I'm not a huge DC guy. Only because I don't know almost pretty much anything about DC other than Spider-Man, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern.
Spider-Man's not DC.
Spider-Man's not DC, sir.
Yeah, Superman. My bad. See, I already
don't have greatness with. Yeah,
I told you. I don't. But I do love the aesthetic that Snyder brings to the DC universe. I don't think people would still probably be into DC movies, but I feel like he set the tone for what a DC movie should be with Man of Steel, and he also did BVS, and those are very dark tone movies, just very heavy feel. It's not
and
like
Watchmen.
Marvel.
Watchmen really set the tone, honestly.
So DC has great graphic novels, bro. Like they tap into that bag and bring us shows or movies.
Yeah, DC is
it's.
I think DC is perfect for video games, shows, these animated shows. Even I see people always talking about Arrow and the other
Flash.
The Flash, and there's other shows as well that people always talk about. But when it comes to movies, so far they just haven't executed properly. Obviously, they're trying to fix that. Obviously, the Snyder Cut isn't most likely. Who knows? We'll see. Isn't going to be a part of the future of DC, but
Right.
this came about because of fans trying to vouch for the Snyder Cut, knowing that there was a Snyder Cut, and they're like, we want to see that version of the movie. So they raised all this
You
money.
deserve it. That's why
They got DC's attention, and they said, "Fuck it, we're gonna do it." And
and he's not even getting paid for it.
No, he's not.
Nope.
He's not even getting paid for it. So this is just a labor of love. 4 hour, the longest comic book movie that we will see. 4 hour movie.
The trailer, I think, is awesome. You know, it shows obviously some things from the original, and also some new things that look very, very interesting and intriguing that I cannot wait for. I can't wait for the gore.
I just hope the whole movie's not being shown to us, and so we go back and watch it. We're like,
you can't. They can't watch. That's a 4 hour movie.
Yeah, we're seeing minutes of a 4 hour movie.
That is a 4 hour movie. I don't think they can. Like, that's what I usually worry about in trailers.
Right. But the fact that it's a 4 hour movie, you're like, okay.
I mean, obviously, there's probably going to be stuff that we've seen before. There's probably going to be stuff that was in the original one, because that's probably what Snyder had originally shot, but all the stuff that he didn't shoot probably won't be in there, plus more.
Yeah.
So,
I just hope that it's pretty seamless in me watching it, you know, where I can't necessarily tell, oh, these scenes were shot afterwards. Like, other than watching it, like, because an edit is an edit, you know what I mean? But like, I would love to watch it and feel like, oh, this was all done right now. You know, that's kind of what I'm hoping out of the movie. And I'm just hoping for a cohesive story now that he has full autonomy to include everybody who he wanted to include. Yeah.
So
then, of course, the surprise at the end of the trailer was Jared Leto's Joker. Did you guys kind of expect that?
No.
No, I didn't.
I had heard that supposedly he was going to be in the original cut.
Right.
Obviously, didn't happen. But
for me, I think the only reason I expected it is because remember in Suicide Squad when Batman kind of appears when he's on the purple Lamborghini. That's the only thing I could really think of as far as like him being attached. But it's needed. You kind of see like a darker side.
It's cool.
I feel like
I love it. They're letting him redeem himself.
One of the things that one of the things that I like that hasn't been shown that I'm hoping doesn't is Lex Luthor. Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, which I'm not a big fan of his Lex Luthor anyway.
They're going to recast it completely.
But I think that his role in Justice League was so trash to me, of like him bringing like Steppenwolf into the fold and like him like kind of being a part of that whole thing, using like even what he did in BVS, like using Zod's body to create Doomsday and all. Like, I just think it's really ridiculous. So I'm hoping that they rewrite his character's motivations going into Justice League, and that's why they haven't shown us anything, because it would be great to get a little tease of like a Legion of Doom type of situation. But again, all of this is happening so fast without any correct prep that it's really just going to be a one-off that we're going to get from this film. Like, we're not expected we're not expected to get anything after it that is involved with the Snyder Cut. You know, I think WB execs already kind of came out and said like they're not moving forward with what has been done.
I think that can change. I think it was a different movie where Wonder Woman, they weren't like thinking about doing another Wonder Woman after 84, and when it came out, they're like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna do another one. Like, it makes sense to do it. So they can always change their minds. We'll see. I hope they do, because he wants to do a lot with this universe, and to see him continue to help DC try to come back into the fold of superhero movies the right way, it would be awesome. But
I think Marvel's gonna pull him. I think he's gonna end up getting a Marvel movie.
I don't think so.
Yep, and Kevin Feige is gonna let him do what he wants to do. Like, he knows He knows what Zack Snyder comes with, and they're gonna pick the right.
I think Zack Snyder is going
do
to. He's going to go into his own realm of doing stuff. I mean, he's already doing Army of the Dead. And
I got $10 saying Tariq's right. I'm just kidding.
I'm saying.
But another trailer that we saw that has to do with somewhat superheroes, Mortal Kombat.
Woo! Let's go.
I'm glad it was a Red Band trailer.
Movie.
I'm glad it was a Red Band. As soon as I saw that, it made me okay. I was like, okay, let's get into it. I'm not too excited, but I could be wrong, but yeah, I know you're gonna say that.
I don't get why you're saying that. I don't get it.
I'm just not. I don't know.
How are you not excited? It had everything that you would need.
Are you one of those that the original Mortal Kombat movie was the best? Are you one of those?
No, hell no.
No, the original Mortal Kombat movie has a special place in everyone's heart, or at least it should. But it's not.
And it was one of the first video game movies from a very nostalgic video game that everybody played. So I can see why people like it.
Maybe in my head I have this aesthetic built up from Mortal Kombat 11 and kind of his execution. I could be super wrong, bro. But I'm just not.
It's okay. You are wrong. You are wrong. But it's okay though. A lot of people are wrong about this. A lot of people are harping on things that don't matter within this film. Like they don't understand how this, like the budget for this film, the budget for this film was so low that they used everything like to perfection in order to get what mattered. You know, the fighting is going to be out of control. We're actually getting moves that you're able to do in game in the movie and as they make sense. You have the costumes that are phenomenal and this story that's really going to wrap everything up because the story of Mortal Kombat is insane.
Yeah. You can tell just on its own low budget because I don't know any of those actors. Zero.
Yeah, I mean a few of them are famous. Like a lot of I'm very happy that they're using a lot of Asian actors. A lot of those Asian actors are famous. Some of them have been in Marvel movies, just like as side characters. Some of them have been in their own movies, like The Raid Redemption. We have someone who's been in Fast 8 or Fast 6. Sorry,
I think it's going to be a great combat movie. No,
it's the right amount. It's the right amount of level of artist
type movie. Yes. You know.
Yes. The fighting is going to be so good, and like they really have stars. Like they really have stars in this movie, but it's not that A-list star, which is great because they're not overshadowing
a lot of athletic actors.
Yeah, and they're just not overshadowing the characters. That's the part that sucks when it comes with video game characters.
They didn't get like Jennifer Lawrence to play.
Yeah, like get out of here. Get out of here. We don't want that. Exactly. These are people who are capable of portraying the characters, they're capable of doing the stunts, they're capable of really embodying the characters, and they have something to prove too. You know, it's not just like people who are just doing this for a check. There's a lot of love between the characters. Like the actors that are playing these characters believe that they are these characters as well. So I just think that it is really, really, really dope for this movie. I'm so excited. The trailer was epic. Having Sub-Zero as being the villain is genius because Sub-Zero's not a good guy.
I've always seen him as
he's not a good guy. What has happened in Scorpion's eyes, he's not a good guy. And it just makes perfect sense for what's going on, even though that they have this new person that in my mind, it's like this new person is us, you know, like we're getting brought along as this new person's getting brought along into this world, which is something you always need when it comes to video game movies. That's the reason why video game movies have been trashed before, is because they create this world that doesn't make sense. And you're like, oh, well, that's unrealistic. None of this would happen. But once you actually put a person like they did with the Sonic Hedgehog movie, where like on paper, that sounds ridiculous, but you have Jim Carrey, who is a scientist, and then you have the cop, who is us, getting introduced to this hedgehog that could run very fast. That's blue. It sounds ridiculous, but it works because we're the equivalent of that person who doesn't know anything getting introduced to all these characters. So it's just really, really dope. I'm super excited for it. Anybody who's bashing that trailer, you're tripping. Like there's just, and I don't mean that for sincere, but I see a lot of people on Twitter.
I just think people are mad that it's not like the original, but people got to remember that the original was based off a video game, so this is going to be based off a video game. But yeah, hype for the movie.
Anyways, that's what the Soundflake Podcast. My name is Insincere. I'm tripping. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'll probably go rewatch it, man. I don't know.
No, just wait for the movie. Yeah,
just wait for the movie. Honestly, I don't need another trailer. I'm happy that they came out with this a month before it comes out. I'm totally on board. I'm seeing.
I was happy to see blood. Does that count?
Oh, so much. What are we talking about? There's so much. It was great.
Yeah.
There's gonna be fatalities, man. I love it.
Oh, hell yeah.
No fatalities in Cruella.
No.
The Cruella trailer was awesome.
Except unless she's killing dogs.
She's making dogs into coats.
I did not expect Cruella to be what it was. The trailer, edgy. At least.
Really?
Really edgy.
No, I did not. I
expected that.
I didn't know what to expect. I was like, a Cruella movie? Like, what is that going to be about?
To me, it's just like Maleficent with Angelina Jolie. Like, it's like
but that's
that kind of style.
That's like magic in fantasy. This is real life, just a regular person who's evil, and I mean, it was like what I didn't expect is what I wanted, I guess. They gave us what we didn't know we wanted.
Yeah.
Cruella. She's pretty much Disney's version of Harley Quinn. And that's what it seems like to me, at least. And I hope we see more Dalmatians in the movie, because obviously Cruella is from 101 Dalmatians, which focuses mainly about Dalmatians doing shenanigans to try to escape the clutches of Cruella. So I'm really curious to see it flipped around.
It seems like that this is going to be a movie, an origin story of her becoming Cruella, and it seems like that her mom may play a big part. It's like a mother-daughter relationship, a mother-daughter power relationship, because it seems like there's a lot of money that's involved. And in my mind, there may be an instance where her mom cares more about the dogs than her, or ends up either calling her a dog, or there's something that deals with the Dalmatians that has scarred her, or felt like that her life has been ruined because of it, that will turn her into Cruella and saying like, I want all these dogs gone. Or they may not even really touch on it. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, because it's a really touchy subject.
It's similar to when they brought Mulan live action and it didn't involve Mushu.
Yeah.
So
I feel you, but it's just, I don't think you understand. American people love their animals. So if she's in this movie killing animals, it's just not going to sit well.
Well, she never killed an animal. At least not in the Dalmatians.
Well, of course not in the animated.
Yeah, they got away. So I feel like you got to show some shenanigans that the Dalmatians are doing to get away from her. Because obviously, I don't think she's going to be the winner or gonna get what she wants at the end of the movie, because we know how 101 Dalmatians ends. So I'm still hyped for the movie because the trailer looked awesome. I loved it.
Do you think that we're gonna get a cameo by Glenn Close?
Who?
I hope so. Glenn Close.
She's the original Cruella in 101 Dalmatians.
Okay, yeah, I was a kid. I didn't look at the cast as a kid. Okay. Who's in this movie? But
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, I feel like I think Disney has a track record of bringing the people who played the character before in a live action.
It's subtle. It's like dominant. And so, yeah.
She'll be like one of the guests or something like that. Something crazy.
And it's just like a cool couple seconds, like her reacting, or like
Kind of
her
like
with,
how
like a
they
cool one-liner.
included the original Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman 84.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I could see something like that. But those are all our trailer analysis.
No, we still got one more. We still got
uh,
one more. We have a movie called Invincible, and it
Oh,
is
that was
an
a series.
Well, that's not a
animated.
movie. Yeah, that's a show.
It's an
series.
animated,
Anime.
animated Amazon original series. My bad, but it is stacked. This is really cool because Amazon has done superheroes, like they've done The Boys, and for them to take this comic book of Invincible, and it's different from Marvel and DC. You know, this is a totally separate comic, and telling this story about superheroes is really cool because it doesn't always have to fall into the tropes of it being Marvel or DC.
Mhm.
And the voice cast lineup is
Just read it off, bro.
absolutely
Just
insane.
read it off.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna read it off. We got Zachary Quinto, where he's played Spock before. He was Sylar in Heroes. They have Andrew Rannells, Kevin Michael Richardson, Seth Rogen, Justin Roiland, Mae Whitman. Mae Whitman plays as the voice character for Katara in The Last Airbender, Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is great. Gillian Jacobs, Lenny James, Jason Mantzoukas, Ross Marquand, Sonequa Martin Green, Melise Ezra Miller is going to be there. Carrie Payton, Mahershala Ali, Zazie Beetz, Clancy Brown, Max Burkholder, Nicole Byer, Lauren Cohen, Chad L. Coleman, Michael Kudlitz. So many people. Mark Hamill, John Hamm, Dijman Hansu, Jonathan Groff, Michael Dorn, Walton Groggins, Aaron Gray Griffin, and Chris Diamantopoulos. Sorry if I messed that up, but
He's
it's crazy.
To pod right now, and he's not going to want to support us
every
anymore.
person on this planet,
pretty much. And also the father is played by what's his name? Jake. Is it J.K.? No, it's not J.K. Rowling. It's
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons. There we go. So it's just stacked all the way around of wonderful, iconic voices and voice talent. So I'm really, really excited for this series. It comes out in March.
I want to say the same thing. That I don't know why I don't like that style of animation. I don't know, but
really,
if it's intriguing enough,
I don't know.
That style of animation is like why all the DC animated films are fire.
Oh, I don't watch those either.
Well, you don't watch anime. You don't watch anime either, bro.
You're missing out, bro.
It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal to the story. I know. I've heard it several times from several people. I'll probably try to watch it because
it does get Skywalker an audiobook, bro, because he's not going to watch these movies.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's not a movie; it's a show, right?
Yeah, it's a show.
Yes, but okay. You know what I mean. Either way, alrighty, guys. Before we go, we have some quick referrals to get into.
I just wanted to mention that Biggie movie coming March 1st. Be on the lookout for that. We will talk about that most likely.
I'll
that
I'll
Biggie
go
documentary
story, later and kind of give my 2 cents on that. But another thing I'm not excited about. Y'all can attack me later.
You're not excited for a Biggie doc?
I got a Biggie movie and a Tupac movie.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but
it's a doc.
Let the man, bro. Let the man rest in peace, bro. Like
I do feel like that we've heard everything that we could hear about Biggie. I don't think that there's too much new information that would come out that
I think it's just
know.
As a music fan, it's still something fun. You know, even if it's the same content in a different way or same stories in a different way, but we'll see. We'll talk about
I wonder if we have all the Biggie verses out, like all the stuff that he's recorded. I wonder if it's out already.
I would say yes, because I feel like
maybe.
I feel like something.
Maybe some of them just didn't hit like that, you know? Because I mean, he wrote a lot and he recorded a lot.
So did Tupac, and Tupac worked 2 times more than Biggie, in my opinion.
And
and we haven't gotten a Tupac verse like ever, like, you know what I mean, like since he's passed. So
I heard one, it was whatever. But let's get into our streaming suggestions to cap off the show. My recommendation is for a Netflix show. It's about a detective pretty much trying to find out, like, pretty much just cases that are pretty much cut clear. This is the bad guy, send him to jail. He's like, wait a minute, there's more to this. And he always discovers more, and it is like a huge spider web of things that's going on behind that little crime that everybody looked over. And it's really interesting. It's on Netflix. Go watch that.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I think I finished it in a week. It's a mystery drama. Has some dark moments. So
Nice.
go peep that.
My show referral is a classic. It is Static Shock. That is now on HBO.
Static Shock.
That's right. It's now on HBO Max. I assume that they put it on there for a couple of reasons. One, because Black History Month, and that's like their only Black hero that they have a series for. Mm-hmm. And also because they are trying to gauge interest into for their upcoming Static Shock movie that Michael B. Jordan will be producing. Super excited for that. I think every young kid watched Static Shock on the WB growing up, and there's just the story is just so rich, and that world is just really large with the Bang Babies, and it's an LA superhero, and I just think that there's a lot that people can really gather from it. I think that Static Shock has the potential of impacting the world, kind of like Black Panther did. If it's done right. So I'm really, really excited about it. And I started watching the shows, and they just tackled themes that were really, really like crazy. Like they tackled racism. They tackled, just what it's like to be a Black kid in LA, or just like a young Black kid trying to figure himself out and trying to grow up in this world. So it's just really, really cool. Excited about the show. Definitely go check it out and support Static Shock.
Yes.
Yeah. Guys, Sonic the Hedgehog is on Hulu. Go watch that, please, because I like rewatching it. I rewound it.
Is it the movie or the show?
The movie.
Okay.
The movie's back on Hulu. Well, it's on Hulu. This is the first streaming site it's been on since its release in theaters, I believe.
That's cool.
So go watch. I like rewatching when Tails pops out of the ring.
Movie.
I like rewatching when Tails pops out.
Yeah.
I just want to keep in mind Chris Pratt was originally supposed to be the cop, and we ended up getting James Marsden. So the info funny. As you will, but the
sequel got announced.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, the sequel got announced April 22nd, I believe. 2022. And I love that the way that they announced it was with I believe
Tails.
Not only with Tails, but the song that was playing was from Sonic 2. Also, might have been Emerald something zone. But it's just really cool because they're just sticking with the source material, and Sonic fans could spot all that and pick it out. So it's great.
Thankfully. But with that being said, y'all, this has been the Soundflick Podcast, episode 42. Thank y'all for sticking with us. We touched base on a lot today, guys. So I'm really glad we got to, because so much is happening so quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we were able to get it head on. Once again, be sure to follow us on all social platforms, Instagram, Twitter. Support us on Patreon. We'll have some more things coming your guys' way, as well as follow us each on our own individual social medias. A Sincere, Thascool, and Skywalker Mike. But not only that, but if you guys like how the podcast looks and sounds, and you want to start up your own podcast, hit up our friends at Productive Culture. Tell them that the Soundflick Boys sent you. If you look down below, you can see their link. Again, if you want to start up your own podcast or have any questions, be sure to hit them up. But with that being said, guys, that is the end of episode 42. Thank you so much. Outro.
Peace.